Welcome to Red Ice Creations Radio. My name is Henrik Palmgren. Thank you for tuning in. We are coming to you from the west coast of Sweden. You can hear a new program every Thursday and Sunday. And you can, of course, access our radio archive 24/7 through our website, redicecreations.com. That's REDICE creations.com. And today we have researcher Nassim Haramein with us. We have a lot of requests to invite Nassim to the program, and I've been catching up with much of the information that he has available on his website, theresonanceproject.org, theresonanceproject.org. And we're going to address a variety of many interesting subject matters here today. We're basically going to dive into the search, if you will, for a grand unified field theory. We're going to talk about everything from geometry to the power of spin, the structure of the universe, and much, much more. And Nassim has a fascinating theory that we're going to explore further here today. He also has a beautiful trailer up on his website for the DVD called Crossing the Event Horizon. I'm going to ask Nassim a little bit more about that later in the program. But let's start at the top, as it were, and bring our guest first on the program here. So with that, welcome to Red Ice Creation, Nassim, all the way from Hawaii. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on your program.
Brilliant. Thank you again for coming on and spending some of your time with us. I know that you're very busy over there in Hawaii, involved in a lot of interesting research for sure. Why don't we do like this, Nassim, for listeners that might not be familiar with you or your research, if you will, tell us a little bit about your background and how you have got involved in the kind of research that you do here today.
For many years when I was young, I had some very moments of revelations from my earlier time in studying at school. At moments where I thought of things that didn't seem to match what I was being taught in the schools, and one of my first inkling to understanding the geometry of the structure of the vacuum, and came from a first class I had in geometry when I was about 10 years old, and I realized that there was some deficiency in our understanding of dimensions, and from there on I started to search for a better understanding of how reality comes together, how atoms self-organize in all this complexity we call our biosphere, and
right.
And how consciousness gets involved as well, and how matter and energy interact to produce our world. So it's been a long time, a long road of research, all through advanced physics, chemistry, biology, and eventually I wrote a unified field theory by modifying Einstein's field equations, and wrote a bunch of papers on this, and I'm currently doing research in the context of a research park we call the Resonance Project.
Interesting. And tell us a little bit about this, the Resonance Project. Is it a big organization? Do you guys have classes and things like this?
It's a non-profit organization that is situated on the Big Island of Hawaii, where we have various researchers, scientists, and from many different fields, from physics to biology and engineers and so on, and we are actively doing research in bringing this unified view to the world and advancing it, and bringing more and more levels of clarity to it, and helping produce material to educate the public and let the public know about the possibilities, both in science and technology and philosophy that comes from this new view of physics, which is gaining more and more popularity right now. So it's very exciting. It's a great group of people, and we do it in the context of a research park that is on the land that where we grow food and all this, and so it's a sustainable community. and it allows us to work together, think together, and live together. And sometimes you have great ideas at 3 in the morning, and you got to talk to your friend researchers, and
Right.
it's great to have everybody on site.
Oh, that's a good idea. It sounds very interesting. So, how long have you been running this research park over there?
The research park has been here for, about 4 years or 3.5 years now, and we have intern programs that people can participate in, and volunteers, and as well we have various programs like an emissary program where people come here for a week and a half and they get trained. Like 10 days, and they get trained in being able to understand the deeper levels of the theory and being able to go out there and give talks about it and educate the public.
Right, right. So, Nassim, if you will, kind of lead us into the subject. I actually don't know where is a good place to begin. I mean, we could, I guess, give an overview of how this grand unified field theory came about. I don't know if you want to go into it that way, or what do you think? Give us your suggestion here.
Yeah, absolutely. We could start where I started when I was 10 years old, and
right.
And go from there, because I think it's a fairly organic way of thinking, and it helps the listeners follow the information.
Sounds good.
So yeah, basically when I was 10 or so, I went to my first geometry class, and the teacher went to the blackboard and made a little dot on the board and said, today we're going to learn about dimensions, which is the first class in geometry, and the little dot I just made is called dimension 0, and it doesn't exist. And I don't know about you, most people had that class at one point or another, and already when the first statement was made, which is an axiom, and the first axiom was made, I already had a problem with it. I knew I was going to have an issue with that class, because I could see the dot on the blackboard, so how could it not exist?
Right, right.
And so, then from there the teacher put a bunch of dots together to make a line, and said this line is called dimension 1, and it doesn't exist either because it still doesn't enclose volume. And then he took 4 of these lines and made a plane, like a square, and said this is dimension 2, it's a flat dimension, it doesn't enclose space, so it still doesn't exist. And then the teacher did something miraculous. He took 6 of these planes and made them into a cube, and draw a cube on the blackboard and said, this is dimension 3, and this one exists because it enclosed space.
Right.
However, you can't enclose space with a plane that doesn't exist, that's made out of lines that don't exist, that are made out of dots that don't exist. So for me, right away, I could see there was an error there. I could see there was a problem.
Yeah.
And if for me it was clear, even at that young of age, that if we didn't understand dimensions, if we didn't understand the basics of geometry, there was a good chance we weren't going to be able to understand the physics of how creation comes about, or the mathematics of it. And it wasn't until much later that I realized that all of our physics and all of our mathematics is based on this axiom. And a lot of it is written in flat space. And so I basically went home that night when I was 10, and I thought about it, and I eventually came to realize that the only way to solve the riddle is to take the exact contrary approach, and that is that the only thing that exists is the point.
Yeah.
That within the point, within dimension 0, is all possibilities. That everything emerges from a point and returns to a point.